Hello my dear friends, here we are again. Today we will talk about another chapter of the book A Way to Balance. We will explain in this wonderful day, even if rain, it's going to be a rainy day, probably in a few hours we will have lots of rain. And this beautiful day, I was saying, we will talk about 3 different exercises that I explain in the book in chapter 19. Is the deer, the advanced deer, the more advanced deer, and the even more advanced deer. These are 3 variations of the main exercise of the Taoism, that is the deer exercise that we already explained in the previous videos. So, what I suggest is that you find a quiet place, very solitary place, silence, and no bad vibration, if possible. And these 3 exercises are mainly meditative exercise for meditation. So physically we are not so much involved. The advanced deer is very similar to the deer. The first 2 steps are the same. You remember, let's take the position. Okay, right. Here I'm on a trunk, but you can be on a chair or whatever you want. This is an old tree, very dear to me, because I planted with the seed, the acorn. It's an oak. And I use this kind of piece of wood, but it could be also other material, this thick, probably from 2 to 3 inches, where I can put my royal buttocks so that I can discharge most of my weight. 80% probably goes here, and just the 20% goes on the heel over the Hu Yin point. So we put this. The book fell down. We put this here. Then we have an old jacket underneath. Then we sit with the royal buttocks over the piece of wood, and then we place the heel exactly on Hu Yin. We must feel it. That's right. We can do the exercise here like this, or we can use a little piece of something here, and then that's right. This is perfect position. A quarter of the lotus. So thumbs inside your palms. We breathe in. As usual, we practice this exercise also with the Jalandhara Bandha, if we can, with the control belt, if we can, and with the respiration, as explained in the crane exercise, in 3 phases. 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3 in exhalation. Inspiration, 1, 2, 3. Exhalation, 1, 2, 3. So we breathe in. I explained the exercise before. We breathe in, then we stay with our chin over our chest, and we remain there with our lungs full. Remember that this is called kumbhaka, this phase, this step, and this is where we start the real exercise, we make the contraction of the anus, and then we try to feel something that goes up the column, along the spine, gets up here, and then goes down along the anterior part of the body until it gets here, between the navel and the pubis. So let's see it. But it's all in the mind. Okay, it's an interior exercise. I forgot to say, when you feel the energy that arrived here, it ends here, you can breathe out. Let's do it again. Contraction. Okay. I felt a little bit of difficulty when I tried this exercise many years ago, and I felt the need to touch the body to feel the sensation of being there. That's why I added this kind of variance. And so I call this the more advanced deer. So we touch with the tips of our fingers, the thumb or the index, wherever we want, and we go along the spine and then in front of our body, like this. Then we change hand. That's it. Very simple. This is something that makes me remember that maybe this is another thought of mine. Maybe this is the reason why so many exercises, so many practices, so many prayers, so many forms of meditation that we try today, but that were created in the past, are doomed to fail, or to say better, they don't get the results that they used to get in the past. So, what is my intuition, my hint? We live a very different life than the life lived by our ancestors. We have movies all over the place, in our cell phones, in our PCs, in our TVs at home. All this, we have video games, all these activities involve very little our body. It's almost excluded. We just move little movements, we watch, we feel, we live certain kind of emotions, but the body is not involved. We are not doing a job, running, swimming, or making love, or playing with something, playing soccer, playing baseball, playing football. No. The body is almost excluded. This I think, can lead to a form of daydream in some way. We are pushed to live outside our body, in a virtual reality, in a reality that many times is created by the cell phones, the movies that we see, the television, the book also. We live outside, not our real life, what we are now. This can be an interesting experience, but if we exaggerate, it can take us to be more outside of our body that we should be. And in my Taoism, this is not good, because in my Taoism, we should be inside our body even more than a normal people, because we want to improve, to transform this body, the body in which we live now, in this moment. We are outside of our body when we sleep. We are outside of our body when we dream. We are outside of our body when we die. But during our life, we should exploit every possibility to be inside our body and try to feel it, exchange information, and transform ourselves and the body where we live, because these are one and only one thing, united forever, if we get to a certain level of evolution. So that's why I try to change a little bit these ancient exercises, not because I think I'm better, but I think that we should update these practices. Otherwise, maybe in the past they were very effective, but nowadays it's different. We are more outside of the body, more spiritualized, if you want, but in a negative way, because we ignore our body. We don't feel it, we don't use it in the proper way. So in the end, you see that it's something that goes on the opposites. Being outside of the body for many, many hours a day leads us to ignore the body, to let it go, and what happens, it doesn't matter that much. This is the opposite message that Taoism, at least the Taoism that I have accepted and I explain, has brought to humanity. The opposite. So, my suggestion is to try the exercise in the two different ways, the old way and the first form of the advanced deer. Try the old way and see if it fits you. If it's all right, go on. Try the other one, the modified form, so the more advanced deer, and see what fits you the most. What I can tell you is that at a certain point I try to feel if there were some points more important than others along this route that we follow with our fingers. And I sensed that there were some points. And afterwards I discovered that ancient masters had created a special exercise where you can concentrate your attention on certain points that are very, very similar to the ones that I have felt. So it was interesting and satisfying sensation. So you will see now, I'll perform the exercise and you will see that I stop in certain points. On the book you will find in details where do I suggest to stop along the exercise. So now I perform the even more advanced deer. Very simple. You follow the same route than the other exercise, but you just stop for 1 second or half a second on some special points. What can I say more? Yeah. My personal sensation on this matter is that when I practice the deer exercise, I feel the energy deeper almost along the column inside, let's say 3 inches under the skin, okay? While the sensation that I have when I practice the advanced deer, the more advanced deer, and even more advanced deer, is the energy moves on a more superficial level. But that's only my personal sensation. These 3 channels, these 3 ways are interconnected between them. The middle one, the one that I feel with the deer exercise, is very similar to what the ancient described as Chong Mai. So the channel, the first channel that began in the embryo, where we start our life on a body. That is a channel that goes from the anus, from that area to the top of the head, inside. With these words, I say goodbye to you and see you with the next video. Goodbye. There's a little pain now. Oh, don't worry if you feel the same. After a few minutes, the discomfort will go away in a few seconds. Especially if you're not so young. Goodbye to everybody.